Well, Rob, quick turnaround and Harlequins fast on the horizon here. Big game for us in a sellout crowd.
Yeah, and I think, look at the way we trained today, just a couple of days after our game at London Irish, and you can see how much the boys are kind of already up for it. So, they're obviously very aware it's a sellout crowd. They're aware it's kind of New Year's Eve, and it's in a way a chance for them to play and then have a little bit of time to themselves over the Christmas period. So, wrapping it all up, it makes it a very big fixture for us. We're still desperate to win games of rugby, particularly at home. And we want to put right a few of the mistakes we made at London Irish, particularly maybe not starting so well. So we've obviously targeted that. And as you say, I think it just has the feeling already of a big fixture, and I think it's going to bring the best out of us.
It's different to a normal week because you've got such little time to turn it around and that. But what have you done differently? Have you rested the boys a bit more?
Yeah, to be fair, we probably haven't done very much, and I wouldn't have expected Harlequins to have done too much. Obviously, you do a bit of video analysis, you get the boys through a fair bit of recovery, and you have a bit of a run around, and then that's pretty much it. And you can't do much more. It's very much about attitude, but we are in mid-season now. We have covered a hell of a lot of rugby, and so it's just more about reinforcing the things that we want to do ourselves and how we want to make the game about ourselves, and the things we can do to kind of bring our crowd into the equation, because that's obviously very important to us. But no, it's been a good atmosphere this week at training. Despite us losing at London Irish, I think there were a lot of positives in the performance for us. Particularly once we got the first 15 minutes out of the way, it was a good performance. You have to say it was. And with 5 minutes to go, to be 4 points down and looking like the team pushing through was great. Didn't quite come through though.
You said in the aftermath of Irish that you were going to talk about these slow starts, not just that one, but a few other games. What have you said to the boys?
We just talked about some of the focuses we have to put in place, but we'll focus through and we'll come through. We've got to remember we are a team that's learning and pushing through, and by keeping pushing through and keeping learning, that's how you get better. And if this is one little thing that we address in our kind of journey through the Premiership, I haven't got any problems with it. We got a point. We're moving through. We're not expected to be European Cup winners, immediately. For us, it's about developing and building. And if there's one thing we address, that's perfect.
2011 is a year that we'll look back on again with great satisfaction, and that would be nice to finish on a high.
Yeah, and I think I think a win, obviously, in the points that would help us accrue would be fantastic. It would probably push us back into the top half of the table, which is very important to us. We want to be doing the best we can do. But at the same time, we have been steadily accruing points. We need to remember that. We've been getting something out of pretty much every game, and that gives you a solid foundation of a decent season. That's what we're having. We're having a decent season, and it's for us to now to see how we can push on.
You said as well Irish that you wanted to freshen things up, and no doubt you'll have to do that this weekend, bring a few different faces in just to keep it fresh.
Yeah, not as much maybe as we thought we'd have to. We've got a fair bit of strength in depth. We've got most guys come through with just bumps and bruises. Ironically, it wasn't the most physical game of Premiership rugby we've ever played. There was a fair bit of movement, a fair bit of kicking at times as well. It wasn't a brutal forward battle, so to speak. It was a relatively open game, and so we've come through pretty unscathed. We have got opportunities to rotate a few guys who are in the mix anyhow. And we have got one or two bumps and bruises that we probably felt were better off resting. But as a whole, we're really pleased how the boys have come through, and we've been able to go very strong.
Finishing the year with a sellout crowd, our first this season, is terrific, and no doubt you want the crowd to play their part as well. Yeah, well, I think Harlequins at home, it's a big fixture. It's one that the crowd will have been looking forward to for, our supporters will have been looking forward to for a long time. The fact it falls on a Saturday on New Year's Eve, kind of over the Christmas period, all of those kind of multiply. Hopefully what a good time everyone can have here. And I think it's the boys are very aware it's a sellout crowd, and that a lot of people are going to be here to watch them. It's on television, good chance for them to kind of showcase themselves, and we just got to make sure that brings out a real good focus on ourselves, and as I say, a chance to show off that we're a good side. If we take everything as positives, we'll do well. But it's going to be a tough game of Premiership rugby, and you've got to be in the fight first and then see if you come through it, and that's what we've got to make sure we are. Make sure we're in the fight and see if we can come through it. I was going to say Harlequins have been the standout side this first half of the year, and when you look back, a bit of frustration of the result up there. Another day, bounces of balls, and
ultimately. But then Harlequins have played better than that day as well. And I'm very aware of that, and they'll be very aware of it. To go over and to lose and win, you have to be a good side. To put 10 wins together in the Premiership, you have to be a very good side. So, we're not taking anything for granted or thinking we've got a particularly better chance because, ultimately maybe we could have won up at Harlequins. It's another game. It's a different set of circumstances. It's a long time ago now as far as rugby fixtures are concerned. So a little bit of frustration from that fixture, but we're certainly not looking at anything that happened that day to be a motivator for us. For me, it's about these guys being motivated to win a game of rugby in front of their home support and show they're good players.
Brilliant. Thanks, Rob.